It's the Sittin Sportside podcast, exclusively on 1045theteam.com.
Mike's a hot, Mike.
Yeah! What up, Eric?
1045theteam.com. It's Sittin Sportside podcast. It's been a while, Mike, since we've all... I said we all. Me
Somebody
and
else
you have
here?
been together. Right, someone else is... Exactly. I mean, it's been a while since we've had 3 people on the podcast.
I vote we give Andrew some crap on the podcast. Since
Yeah,
he's
so
not
Andrew
here.
Grella was scheduled to make his Sittin Sportside podcast debut. We've had many debuts. I don't want to go through any of the other names. They don't work here
Try
anymore.
and get Big Al. Get some dingers.
Big
on
Al. It's some dingers. Can Big Al score some touchdowns, though, is the question. I don't know what his favorite football team is, but this podcast is dedicated to your AFC preview. We're going to go division by division, Mike. We're going to pick division winners, and then we're probably going to have similar division winners. That's going to happen.
Yeah.
We'll talk about those teams probably the most, and then we'll go as much positivity on the other teams as possible. We'll go through them, but if we don't have much to say about them, we will move on. We'll start with the AFC East, of course. That includes our New York Jets, but...
Who?
Our New York Jets that have named Sam Darnold the starting cornerback. I mean, we haven't had a Mikey's rant segment for sure. We've always had him in the middle of a podcast. This is the middle of a podcast, but I feel like we're going to get a Mikey's rant at some point. But who do you have winning the AFC East, and why is it not the Jets?
It pains me to say this, but I got to take the Brady bunch, man. Like, it pains me to say that, but they're just too good.
Well, it's every year. I mean,
They're
we say it
too
every year.
good. How do you not?
I think the main thing to focus about here, if you want to talk about anything about the Patriots, go ahead and lump it in. The main focus here, I think, is there's no one good enough to beat the Patriots in this division for sure.
I don't think there's anybody good enough in the AFC.
Well, there you go. Any concerns off the top of your head for the Patriots? I think that Deion Lewis replacement, if Sony Michel is healthy, I think it actually might even be an upgrade. No offense to the local product.
What if, God forbid, Brady actually gets hurt? And I am not saying that as a Jets fan. I'm saying that in general.
You did say God forbid.
But, like, what do they do? How do you trust Brian Hoyer or what's the other kid's name?
Danny Etling?
Danny, how do do you trust him?
LSU,
I mean, Danny Etling
maybe?
did have a huge touchdown run.
Yeah, but I mean, that's not going to happen in an actual NFL regular season game.
No,
I wouldn't
that was a
imagine.
Madden-like touchdown run.
I think the big thing here is the additions of, I said, the running back core. It's changed a little bit. Sony Michel is gone. Mike Gillislee's been cut. He's on the New Orleans Saints. You can catch our Saints preview on the NFC podcast. So it'll also be up here. And
Who dat?
Who Dat Nation. But Who Day. We'll talk about Who Day in a little bit. But not to go off too much of a tangent here, but I think the running backs are actually better. I think Edelman is coming back after four weeks. Might actually be a benefit. I mean, this happened with Tom Brady a couple of years ago when he sat out the first 4 games. I know it's the difference of positions and whatnot, but I think sitting out 4 games and having the guy be able to rest and get ready for the postseason run benefits a guy coming off an injury. I know it was based on a suspension. He's not out because of injury. He's based off a suspension. This helps him out. So I think offensively they'll be fine. Gronk is back. We all know about that. And the defense is still going to be, I think, a good enough defense for the Patriots. So there's not much else I have to say about the Patriots other than let's talk about the other teams. You got something else to say about the New England?
I think losing Amendola might be huge. I mean,
Okay.
yes,
unsung a little
Edelman,
bit.
but yeah, Amendola. I think Amendola was the loss factor in that run last year.
Who am I missing offensively on the wide receiver core? Chris Hogan,
Malcolm Mitchell.
Yeah, maybe wide receivers have taken a hit. I honestly believe actually the running backs got a little bit better. That's just me.
Yeah, I agree. I mean,
But we'll see.
But how much are they really running that off? They run, but they don't that much.
I think we spent a couple minutes here talking about the Patriots, and I think we already know they're going to be on top of the AFC.
So anyways,
let's move on.
Then I think I think the Jets could
There's
finish
3 other
second.
teams. There's 3 other teams in the division. We'll start with the Jets. What are your realistic expectations for the Jets? You think they could finish second place? That is not what we've texted about over the last couple of weeks. You said 3-win team at best. You've gone on Mikey's rant through a text through this thing, and all of a sudden I'm hearing you're saying second place. Where are you coming around? When is Mike? Since Mike is coming around?
Okay, I will say I admittedly did think they were a 3-win team, and I still think they could be a 3-win team, but Miami's quarterback is Ryan Tannehill, who, let's be serious, he's not a quarterback. He's terrible.
He's a quarterback.
Terrible. I mean, there's no shot. And how are the Bills going to start Nathan Peterman? Seriously?
He looked the best In practice and in games. I think that's what it comes down to. McCarron wasn't good enough. They were able to get a pick for him
but
instead
let's
of straight up releasing him. And then Josh Allen, he's the ace in the hole, so to speak. Josh Allen will be starting at some point this season. I firmly believe that. But that's the thing. Sticking with the Jets, though, I've heard things from front office people reading articles online saying that they don't think that the Jets have a good enough offensive weapons around Sam Darnold, and I actually respectfully disagree. I think Crowell's going to be a good first and second round back. Bilal Powell is still a really good running back. Let's not forget about I think he's been underrated continuing the last couple of seasons. I like Elijah McGuire if he can get healthy. And then the offensive weapons in terms of wide receivers, I think are a lot more rich than some people say. Quincy Enunwa, I think a lot of people forget about him. There's going to be a lot of room over the middle without a legit tight end on this team anymore. Yep. Not that Safarian Jenkins was fantastic. He was okay, but there's literally no one else now. This is almost like 2 years ago.
Last year on that
but there's almost like 2 years ago of the tight ends. There's really not much from the tight end position. Hopefully Jordan Leggett, this is the second-year man from Clemson, could be something. But I think Enuna's going to eat over the middle. Anderson, we know he can do over the top. So there's a lot here. And then you still have Terrell Pryor and Jermaine Kearse. This is a deeper receiving core.
He's not a wide receiver.
This is still a decent. This is a relatively underrated deep receiving core, in my opinion. Yeah. And I think the defense, honestly, are going to take a step forward. I love Mo Wilkerson, but with him gone, I feel like this defense is going to come together a little bit more. They're not going to have somebody who's not going to show up to practice and linger. He'll probably have a great career in Green Bay, but I really like what the defense is going to do this year, too. So I kind of agree with you. The Bills are a playoff team coming off of last year. The Bills still have a really good defense, but I for my money, I think the Jets can get to 8 wins and come in second place, and the rest of the division might actually suffer a little bit.
I saw somebody with the Jets at 9-7. I said 9-7. I thought 6-10 would be being nice. And here's my philosophy. Okay, I don't think no matter how bad, even if the Jets somehow miraculously found a way to go 0-16 this year, I don't think Bowles deserves to lose his job. The disaster show he's got going on in front of him is not his fault. Not his fault. And do I think the Jets needed a quarterback in that draft last year? Absolutely. Here's my issue with the Darnold trade.
Let's not go. We've already talked about this enough.
But
right?
I know. But I don't agree with giving up 3 second-rounders.
No, I don't think a lot of Jets fans did. But I think it's past that. You're past that. You were able to pick up a 3rd round for Bridgewater, which was basically for nothing.
Yeah. No.
You signed him and traded him.
All right, let's move on. Next division.
Anything else to say about the Buffalo or Miami? I think, like I said, Buffalo's going to be a good defense. I think they could be really good. It all depends on the quarterback play, and I'm not a huge believer in Nathan Peterman as well.
Here's my question.
Like you aren't.
Is Shady's head in the game or no?
I think Shady's head will be in the game when he's on the field, but how much is he going to be on the field? And then is it going to happen too early in the season? Because
when he's on the field, he's dynamite.
I'm more worried about Kelvin Benjamin in the receiving court.
I don't know. He kind of looks like me now. He's a little. I think didn't Cam call him fat or something?
Miami though gets a lot of love, and to say something about Miami, I don't know. Offensively, they look a little, especially after trading Jarvis Landry, they look a little light to me offensively. And so you add in the fact that we are both not believers of Ryan Tannehill. I'm not sure anyone else really is, but he's still an upgrade over Jay Cutler. You got to say that.
But is he really
a bit?
Maybe a smidge.
Maybe a smidge.
I'll give him a smidge. That's all I will give him. I mean, let's be serious. The only reason why the Dolphins won as many games as they did last year was because Tannehill was hurt.
Okay, we're going to move on from that. They bring in Robert Quinn for the defense. They still have Cameron Wake. So I think a lot of these 3 teams, Buffalo, Jets, and Miami, are all similar. A questionable offense. A lot of questions around the offense, but a defense that can really do a good job for them. So we'll see what happens.
Older than you actually think he is?
Yes.
He's like 35.
Well,
I'm pretty sure he's close to 35.
Let's get a fact check on that, Mike.
He's up. He's definitely in his mid-30s. I'm telling you right now.
You would be wrong? No, you're right. I think you're right.
Yeah.
So I'm doing math right now. They don't have the straight up age. There it is, 36.
Yeah, told you.
Wow. Well, he was what? Where'd he come from again? The CFL?
Remember. Was it the CFL? Hey, Johnny Manziel, how's the CFL training?
He's still doing real things, man. I mean, come on.
All right, anyways. Yeah, so...
Giants waived him in 05. You know that?
Really? That looks like a real stupid move now.
Yeah, but he didn't get back in the league till 4 years later. All right, let's move on to the AFC North. We know what's going on here in the AFC North, Mike. This is a team that you've always really looked at, the Pittsburgh Steelers. Le'Veon Bell, as of Wednesday night, we've recorded this. This might be up on Thursday morning before the season, but Le'Veon Bell has not reported to the Pittsburgh Steelers. How does this affect the Steelers this season? Do you still see them as a favorite in the AFC North?
No.
Yes.
Yes.
Who do you got?
I think they're gonna. I think they will win, but don't sleep on the Brownies. I'm telling you right now, the Browns are gonna shock people this year.
Are you willing to, on 1045theteam.com preview, pick the Cleveland Browns? Because I was looking at the AFC North, and I said, I'm not putting the Bengals, and I just don't have enough faith in the Ravens to actually put up first place numbers, so I'm not going to put Ravens. But the Browns was the other team, and I was like, I don't know, can I be that guy to pick the Cleveland? I didn't do it.
I'll do it.
But Mike James.
I will do it.
And like I mentioned right before, we have 1045theteam.com, the preview, myself, guys, Levac, all the picks up there.
How do you not give Cleveland this is the best team they've ever had.
Of course, you're listening to this, so this is the same thing we're basically doing right now, and you're picking Cleveland. We're gonna retroactively look at this in December. We're gonna look at who was right here, and you're picking Cleveland.
I'm gonna take
a point per division winner.
And I think Pittsburgh will be 10-6 best.
So that means you think Cleveland's gonna be better than that?
They may be 10. I think this division goes to 10-6 or 9-7. I think this is way too wide open this year. Everybody's been the Browns can't win. Blah blah blah. I'm telling you right now, this is the best team they've ever had. I mean, they got Carlos Hyde, Nick Chubb.
It is wrong time. Right,
Duke Johnson.
But if this was last year, we're doing a Buffalo Bills preview. You're sitting there talking to me about how you don't have no belief in Tyrod Taylor.
I still don't believe in Tyrod Taylor.
So you think that Baker Mayfield's going to take over an 0-2 team and lead them to a 10-6 or 11?
Tyrod will make it through week 4 before he's hurt.
He's hurt.
He gets hurt by week 4.
And he puts up a good enough record for Baker to come in.
And Baker comes in,
Rookie
picks
of
up
the
the
Year.
pieces. Yeah.
Defensively, I have my worries about this team. I know they've had, obviously Myles Garrett from the first round, Jabril Peppers as well. But past them, I don't know if I really trust the defense enough. I mean, this has been a really bad defense, as evidenced by they've lost 31 games the last 2 years, Mike. Do you believe that the defense will be good enough? I know offensively, I'm with you. The offense looks a little bit better. You're bringing Jarvis Landry. Josh Gordon could be healthy.
Really, if you look at their defense, it wasn't that bad. Their offense was what was their problem last year. Their defense relatively kept them in some of those games. I mean, they almost beat the Jets. Not that was saying much.
I just don't trust them. I just don't. I don't trust the defense. But I'm picking Pittsburgh in first place. I'm still picking Baltimore in second. But real quick about Pittsburgh, if Le'Veon Bell doesn't play at all this year, would you say that there's no chance to get to 9 or 10 wins? Or do you think that they'd still be able to win?
Without Le'Veon, there's no chance. If Le'Veon plays, they win this division for fun. If Le'Veon does not play a snap for the
Let's say hypothetically he doesn't get in until week 6.
No. They do not win that division.
So you're sticking with your Cleveland pick. I'm sticking with Pittsburgh. Look, James Conner, he probably could hold the fort down enough.
Though.
He's not Le'Veon, but maybe at some point do you realize? I love Le'Veon Bell. He's a great player, but at some point maybe Le'Veon was just taking up too many targets away from possibly a good receiving corps. Yeah. When you look at the rest of this receiving corps, Juju Smith-Schuster getting more targets, that's not going to hurt at all.
Man, that kid can fly.
Right. It's not going to hurt having more targets for someone like him. And then, we already know Brown gets so many targets, but Brown takes away from Smith-Schuster, gives Schuster more targets to focus on him a little more. And as long as James Conner can just run the football, we don't necessarily need him to be the triple threat that Le'Veon Bell is. I think that they'll be fine. Offensively and then defensively as well to win that division.
Their defense is my question mark.
Of course,
defense is.
I think that they have just as much of a question mark as Cleveland and as proper, but I just have more faith in the team because they've done it.
That defense has just been so questionable since Palomalo retired, and now that Shazier is not. I
know.
God,
I still have faith in T.J. Watt, a full season from Joe Hayden. Stephon Tuitt, Cameron Hayward's
brother.
They've got,
yeah,
JJ's brother. He's a legit football player. Anything to say about
JJ Watt guy? I mean, he's only done one.
Anything to say about the rest of this division, Mike? Cincinnati Bengals fall from grace. Marvin Lewis is still there, right? How did that happen? I thought he was gone.
Apparently, there's 2 jobs in the NFL you can have and suck at doing, and you can still keep your job. 1, the Jets general manager position.
Okay.
2, the Bengals coaching position.
That's like a mini Mike rant there. It's a Mike jab. It's a Mike James jab.
Think about that, though. I mean, how many terrible seasons? Okay, not terrible, but how many playoff wins does Marvin Lewis actually have?
None. The last 2 seasons have been the worst. I think that we have a bad taste in our mouth of how bad they've been the last couple of seasons and low performance based on high expectations, and that continues into this year. I agree with you. There's really not much else. Their defense is decent. I mean, they have some weapons defensively. Drake Kirkpatrick in the secondary.
Is still there, isn't he?
But Geno Atkins and Carlos Dunlap on the front. They're good. Just offensively, AJ Green and who? Right? Joe Mixon. I mean, that's your boy.
Hoosh isn't there anymore.
So, Hoosh Manzada?
Yeah,
it's a long time ago, man. That's when Chad Ochocinco was
TJ
there.
Hoosh Manzada.
I think Baltimore's still that boring team. It's good to put up good numbers this year. That will still be good.
Watch out.
They're a boring team, but they'll be good.
Oh, Lamar Jackson. Watch out, Joe Flacco.
I think they're going to be good enough to where Flacco, as long as he stays healthy, will be on the field.
Yeah.
I agree with them still being good. Do you think they'll be a second or third place team? Because if you have Browns in first, you have them in third. You have to have Ravens in third unless you put Pittsburgh in third.
I think
it doesn't really matter. You have the Browns. Yeah. I have the Pittsburgh Steelers. Let's move on to the AFC South. This is where things might get a little bit weird because I have one of these. I have a wild card team coming from here, but I have a different team in first place that you probably don't have.
Are you taking the Texans in first?
No, not a chance.
The Colts?
I'm putting the Colts in first place.
The return of the luck?
Why do we think, I know Luck has had so much, obviously, injuries last year at the end of the year before that. But why is it whenever, Brady, he's out, when he comes back, all of a sudden the Patriots are this much better? Same thing with Rodgers. Rodgers is back on the field. People, and you can check out our NFC podcast. We talk about how the Packers are going to do this year. But spoiler alert, a lot of people have them as not only a favorite in the NFC North, which has a good Vikings team, but also a favorite in the NFC. So why is Andrew Luck not getting
Bears
the same
defense? We'll get to that too.
Right. But why are the people not treating Andrew Luck the same? I guess they don't believe him as this elite quarterback, but what from his first 3 years in the NFL where he not only gets you to the playoffs in a rookie year where you didn't think they were going to be anywhere close to the playoffs. So the next year he gets even farther. The following year he gets to the championship game, obviously loses to the Patriots. But what makes us think that why is he not going to be a guy that we're treating like an elite quarterback that can make a team great and make them a playoff team, which he showed us in his first 3 years in the NFL?
Don't trust that shoulder, man. I have a bad shoulder. I don't trust him. And it's not that I don't trust him. It's that shoulder. How many issues
he's part
has
of that
had?
Shoulder. It's connected to his body, so therefore you don't believe in him. No,
if that shoulder holds up, they're a legit team. But coming from a guy who has a bad shoulder, I don't see it. I don't. I just don't. I can't pick against the Jags in that division. I can't do it.
So you're picking.
I have to pick the Jags.
The fact that you even put Houston on the radar, that's going to be a tough division to win. Because I don't think people.
I think the Colts are finished third.
I think that people are sleeping on the Colts, and I think that they're going to come out and really play some pretty good football. The defense for sure is definitely something not to. It's not that great. The defense is really not that great there, and that's been a problem for them in the years when they have been good. That's why I think Luck on the team changes everything. Not only changes the offense, it changes the entire team, including the defense. So even though they don't really have any eye-popping names, Vontae Davis is gone. I still think that the fact of the matter is he's going to make this team 1,000 times better. And obviously there is that concern with the injury, but I have them coming in first place because I still have my drudgers about that wide receiver core. I know you love D.D. Westbrook in Jacksonville, but they're going to key in on Leonard Fournette. He had a lower than a 4 yards per carry last year. I think it's going to continue, and that's not going to help them out. He was a non-factor in a lot of games last year where I don't think Blake Bortles is beating a lot of teams. I think the defense is not no one's sleeping on the defense. I know it's still going to be a really good defense, but no one's sleeping on that defense. And if anything, people are going to get up for that game now because Jalen Ramsey's running his mouth. People are going to want to beat Jalen Ramsey now instead of maybe sleeping on a Jaguars team that has continued to have that persona of we don't need to worry about them.
Yeah, but they got Dante Fowler or Dexter. What is it? Is Dante Fowler?
Dante Fowler Jr., yeah.
Calais Campbell. One of the greatest names in football since O.C. Umenyiora retired. Unique Ngakoue. You got to admit, that's a pretty sick name. I wish my name was Unique Ngakoue. The defense, Dede, I think the Marquise Lee injury is huge because I think Dede Westbrook is going to get the targets he deserves. He's going to go off. He's going to have a big year. And I think Hearns and Robinson being gone definitely going to help too. I think it's just, I don't know.
I think the Blake Bortles effect just, it really eats them up this year. It comes to really
Bortles proves he can.
They're going to have a harder schedule because they have now teams. I know it's only two games, but they're going to be playing the number 1 teams in each division.
Yeah. But keep in mind, they almost they should have beat the Patriots in the AFC Championship game.
Yeah, you're right.
They got screwed in that game.
Still, Blake Bortles didn't play his best football. And in the regular season, I feel like you rely on a guy's arm more than you do in the playoffs. You're not going to necessarily always run it with Fournette and or play as conservative maybe in the playoffs. And that's why I think that Bortles needs to be a little bit better in the regular season.
Let's not forget TJ Yeldon's still there too.
You're right. TJ Yeldon is still there, but I don't know. Do you really believe in the offense? He's going to have to be pretty good out of the backfield. You bring him up, he's going to have to be pretty good out of the backfield, or Fournette's going to have to learn how to catch.
Who's the fourth team? We're forgetting somebody, aren't we?
Yeah, the Tennessee Titans. They're also a really good team. A playoff team from last year as well. I have them in second place and making a wild card.
I see it. Mariota, yeah. Derrick Henry's finally going to get the touches he deserves in the backfield.
I think he's getting a little overlooked in fantasy. I know people are kind of worried about Deion Lewis taking away from PPR leagues, but yeah, I think Derrick Henry getting all the runs now.
Derrick Henry
compared to what DeMarco Murray did.
Screwed by DeMarco Murray.
He was the same type of back. Yeah. How do you expect a guy to get carries if he's the same type of back as someone who's in front of him and the guy who's was doing really well?
Murray. I think if you ask me, if I had to pick between giving the ball to Murray or giving the ball to Henry, I'd pick Henry all day. Well, there you go. That helps out my my thoughts on him in terms of fantasy as well. Nothing though, but
But they're still going to be a good team. But with the wide receiver core, not that Eric Decker was that great for them, but he's gone. You're still relying on Rashard Matthews and Corey Davis. But past that, defensively, they've gotten better, worse, stay the same.
Probably I'd say stay the same.
Malcolm Butler.
I still want to know why he didn't play in the Super Bowl.
Yeah, so
still want to know. Belichick, why?
Logan Ryan.
Yeah.
They brought in some New England players here, man. So I think this is a team that's going to continue to play well. I have more faith in Mariota and Henry than I do in Bortles Fournette. And it kills me as an LSU fan. But this is in college. This is the NFL right now, and I have to go with what my mind says. And I think Tennessee's going to be better. And like I said, I think the Colts are going to do so much offensively now. People are going to regret kind of sleeping on Andrew Luck, and they're going to say, oh, you know what the narrative is going to be week 3 and week 4. Yep. If I'm right, obviously I could be dead wrong here, but the narrative is going to be week 3 and 4. This is an elite quarterback. How could we have even doubted this guy? And that's why I think it's going to be. Anything to say on Houston Texans and Deshaun Watson?
No, not really.
No.
The defense should be better.
Because I think that when I put the Colts in there, and we were talking Jaguars-Titans, this is a team that could get lost in the mud and still be a good team because they were a playoff team a couple of years ago. They were doing well before Watson went down.
Yeah, I'm still mad about that injury because the fantasy league we were in together last year.
Yeah,
Watson was carrying me, and then I traded Dalton to you. I think wasn't it?
You did.
Yeah, and then right as soon as we made that trade, Watson went down. I was like, yeah, well, that's just great.
Well, fantasy can sure give you some grudges, and of course that's going to be one. This year the backup looks to be Brandon Whedon, so hopefully that doesn't happen again to Deshaun. But I like what the offense is going to do with Will Fuller because I think Will Fuller is going to have a breakout season. But defensively with Tyrann Mathieu, this could be a sleeper team that I didn't think about. This could be a team that I didn't think about and didn't factor in and put the Colts way higher than I should. I could be regretting this, but I'm taking the Colts. And once again, you had the Jaguars in first place. Yeah. Let's move on to the AFC West. This is where my Super Bowl champion is coming from. Not champion. My Super Bowl team. I was going to say, what do you got the Chiefs winning the Super Bowl? I got the Chargers getting to the Super Bowl.
You got the Chargers?
I had the Chargers get. I actually. Stay tuned to the NFC podcast. I'll give you the rest of it.
You're out of your mind.
But the Chargers I have from the AFC getting to the Super Bowl.
You're out of your mind.
Very underrated defensively, Mike James.
There's no shot in hell that Philip Rivers ever leads a team to the Super Bowl.
This is it. This is his John Elway moment. A guy who has been so good throughout his career that people really haven't realized how good of a quarterback
That's it. We're making
really
a bet right now. What are we betting? What are we betting right now? We're making a bet right now.
Well, obviously I have a lot more to lose because you have 14 teams, or excuse me, 15 teams, and I have one. I mean,
you back up.
I don't have them winning. I said I have them getting to the Super Bowl. So all they have to do is get to Super Bowl 53, and you have to give me what?
I don't know. What do you want to do?
Well, obviously the stakes are a lot higher for me.
I'll let you pick.
Unless you want to pick one team for you, and then nothing will happen if I had neither of our teams. But
nah, we'll just skip it.
We'll skip the bet. Oh, he's lazy.
Unless you really want to.
Well, no, I feel good about this Chargers. Like I said, they're underrated defensively.
I don't think they make the playoffs.
You don't think they make the playoffs? Well,
playoffs?
Who do you have from that division? Kansas City for sure?
No.
I think that division's wide open. Who do you got? Oakland?
Yeah.
What?
I don't think losing Khalil Mack's going to kill them that bad. I think Carr is finally healthy, and I think they're going to be good.
And
Denver may be picking first overall next year.
I like the acquisition for Oakland and Jordy Nelson for sure. Give John Gruden a couple weapons offensively, give him a chance to make Marshawn Lynch look good, and bring in Doug Martin. Sure, the offense will be better, but I totally disagree. This Oakland defense is going to be really bad. They weren't even great with Khalil Mack, really. I mean, so they're going to be a pretty bad defense, and if anything happens again to Derek Carr, who has shown, do you really believe in A.J. McCarron, the recently acquired guy? I mean, Derek Carr has really gotten injured. I mean, I know the guy, anyone could get injured. No one is safe. No one's safe. I have the Colts winning the division, and Luckett's shoulder could crap out, like you said. So, obviously, I have the winning the AFC South, not the AFC West here, but you know what I mean? So, but I still have this sense to me, like, I just don't believe in Derek Carr anymore. I did last year. So weird. I believed in him last year.
I don't trust Patrick Mahomes in Kansas City.
Neither do I.
And I don't trust Case Keenum. Well, all right, it's not Case Keenum's fault in Denver. There's nothing in Denver. They have Von Miller. They have Von Miller and Demaryius Thomas.
Right.
There's your team.
Sanders has, no, that hasn't changed, but
yeah.
I think we're all ruling out Denver here.
Yeah.
Unfortunately.
I think Denver's fighting for the number 1 overall pick in the draft, honestly.
They got a decent defense. Bradley Chubb, first round pick.
Yeah.
But it's only gotten better defensively there. The offense, though, to your point.
I don't think
Case Keenum does what he did with them,
fault, though.
I think Keenum will get the credit. He should finally get the credit he deserves. If he does a great job with this team, he should get the credit he finally deserves.
Oh yeah. He's one of the best NCAA and one of the best college football quarterbacks ever.
Let's leave that there with the Broncos. Do we want to talk Chargers here? Because you haven't listened to what I'm talking about the Chargers. I don't think I mentioned one player other than the fact that you said you have no belief in Phillip Rivers.
They still got Travis Benjamin there?
They still have Travis Benjamin. He's the 4th receiver.
He's their 4th receiver?
He's their 4th receiver, bro. You have Tyrell Williams opposite Keenan Allen, and then you have the second-year player from Clemson, Mike Williams, ready to go. He's a breakout candidate from the wide receiver. So Antonio Gates is back, baby. Hunter Henry went down, so Antonio Gates is back. And Hunter Henry, when he was injured last season, Gates stepped up.
Who's running the football out there? Oh, yeah.
Melvin Gordon, if he's healthy.
Gordon. Yeah.
Austin Eckler's been okay or not.
Bosa,
but they're really good offensively. And I think defensively, you just mentioned Joey Bosa, not to mention Melvin Ingram. And they bring in Casey Hayward and Trevor Williams.
Yeah.
Well.
See Hayward that had that? No, who was it had that crazy beard? It was
for the corners.
Former Pittsburgh though guy. What was his name? Not Keith. Was it Kiesel?
Brett Kiesel?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's a completely different player.
Yeah.
But
they were on the same defense together, weren't they?
Yeah, they were. But Casey Hayward is a corner.
Who am I thinking of?
You're thinking of a different Hayward, I think. But that doesn't make for good podcasting. We're just trying to remember here.
Yeah,
we'll move on, I guess, since you have no. But they're kicking games better. Bringing in Caleb Sturgis compared to the debacle they had last year. They should have won more games last year if their kicking was better. So Sturgis can be okay.
Can we just move the NFC? I mean, there's nothing really to talk about the
West. This is not the NFC podcast.
Yeah, but the AFC,
title reads AFC preview.
But the rest of the West is a joke.
Okay. Real quick, anything on you don't believe in Patrick Mahomes? They bring in Sammy Watkins for Kansas City.
Watkins is terrible. Terrible. The kid can't stay healthy. Terrible. I'm telling you, there's no. The only good thing they have going is Kareem Hunt.
I have Kansas City, though, getting the second wild card. But if you want to look at it, I have. Did you fill out the preview, Mike? I know I'm asking this live on the podcast, but did you fill out the preview and send it to our preview? All right, so you won't be able to see Mike's full preview, but you're listening to it here on 1045theteam.com. You can click on all our previews, including Tom Gozlowski.
Gozzy Bear.
The Gozzy Bear, Levac, and some other people around the building for who work for 1045theteam.com who work Yankee games. Which I want to give Mike a shout out here. I know it's at the end of the podcast, so not many people are going to hear it, but this is where our hashtag's going to go. We're going to make a hashtag here, and it's going to be hashtag Mike James Trooper.
Wait, I got a better
Mike
one.
James Survivor? No, that's a little too serious.
Yeah.
Give me one. Mike James, basically, while you think of the hashtag, I'll give you the background. Mike James is here with a bad knee. He made it all the way. Not only is he doing this podcast, but he's running the Yankee game, hoping Severino throws a no-hitter. So When
Or
you
at least
listen to
get out of
this,
here by-
Severino will probably not have thrown the no-hitter when you
As long
listen
as I
to
get out of
this.
here by
But,
the time GNA gets here in the morning, I'll be
yeah, I
fine.
mean, we'll see. We'll see.
I
I think
think
Taylor
I
was here
just
to
jinxed
2 a.m.
myself.
Let's do hashtag. He
hits dingus.
he needed to be here.
Yeah, but you gotta spell need
K-N-E.
D.
K-N-E-E-D. He needed to be here. Hashtag that. Let us know you listen to the podcast.
My Twitter is announcer MJ44 on Twitter.
Yeah, but I'm at Eric H1045. So you can tweet at us. The rest of our previews will be we'll go NFC to their next podcast. That'll also be up on youtube.com/team1045 under the Sittin Sportside playlist. So just real quick, I'm going to list off my teams and my wild cards to give it an official here at the end of the podcast. I have the Patriots, Steelers, Colts, and Chargers all winning the division with, wow, I forgot, the Chiefs and the Titans. Chiefs and the Titans getting in as a wild card, and I have the Chargers and the Patriots in the championship game, and Chargers winning that, getting to the Super Bowl. Mike.
Patriots.
Yep.
Jaguars.
Browns.
Raiders.
Now you need to think about some wild card teams.
Steelers. And I think I'll throw the Titans in there too. I think they got a shot.
Who do you have in the championship game and winning to get to the Super Bowl?
I'm going to go rematch. Jags, Pats, Jaguars, take it.
Okay, so Jaguars getting to the Super Bowl for Mike. Chargers, you heard it here first, baby. Getting to it for me.
Go Chargers, go!
To find out our NFC winners and our Super Bowl predictions and MVP predictions, go to the NFC podcast on 1045theteam.com. Click on the Sittin Sportside podcast tab.
Can't wait.
Anything else? That's it? That's it, Mike J?
Can't
wait?
it.
All right.
Can't wait.
That's it for us here on the Sittin Sportside podcast. We'll see you there.
Stay classy.